welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Cornelia. I'm a Canadian creator and I make videos about living the life of an entrepreneur, building a candle business, being a freelance creator and freelance producer. So today's video is candle focused. I wanted to put a bit of emphasis on the candle videos this month just because as I round out another year as a candle business owner, I've learned a lot and I have a lot to share. So this week's video is about Etsy. Dun dun dun. I've never really spoken about Etsy on my channel before, but I thought it would be a good idea to kind of elaborate on my experiences with Etsy, whether or not I would recommend it to small business owners, and just how I have felt working on Etsy over the last year and a half, I think. So to give you a bit of a backstory, I started my candle business in June. I launched June of 2023. It is now January of 2025. So about a year and a half ago. I didn't want to set up a website right away because websites do cost quite a bit of money, especially if you're going to sell on them. So I wanted a Shopify account. That would be about $50 a month. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to start going to markets first. I'm going to launch an Etsy because Etsy really doesn't cost anything to start. And then we'll go from there. So most of my sales, I would say, come through markets, custom collaborations, candles I do for businesses and brides, and then direct order from people I know on Instagram or friends. And then Etsy is probably one of the last places I make money, which is funny enough. So that kind of takes us into what I'm going to talk about today, and make sure you watch the whole thing to find out kind of the pros and cons and if I would recommend it or not. But to take a look at what we're going to talk about today. So first off, I'm going to talk to you about what I really like about Etsy. Then I'm going to jump into what I don't like about Etsy. And then I'm going to tell you, do I think it's worth being on Etsy, and is that something you should focus on as you build your small business? So thank you so much for being here. If you enjoy videos like this, please make sure to like and subscribe because it really does make a huge difference. And if you want to leave a comment, I also love that. Interacting with the community is my favorite part. So thanks again, and let's dive right in. Okay, first things first, why do I like being a part of Etsy? And I'm gonna start with the positive because I'm a pretty positive person and I do think there's a lot of positive to be a part of Etsy. So basically, you're accessible to a lot more people. So on Etsy, it's obviously a search engine. It is a marketplace for online sales. And so your business is being presented to more people. There's also an option to run ads, so more people get driven to your page. And if you weren't on Etsy, you would not be accessible to people. Like I've had people reach out in the States, mostly Canada, but there's options for people kind of around the world to find your products, which is really great. And you're just casting a net that you wouldn't have been able to cast if it had just been a website or you were just going to markets. I think Etsy just opens up another door of opportunity for sales, and that is a reason why I do like being a part of it. And then my next point about Etsy and why I like being a part of it is it's a very user-friendly platform. I am not somebody who's very tech focused. Obviously, I know how to work a camera and a computer and edit videos and stuff, but I don't love being online and all these different platforms. I don't love learning new software, but Etsy was pretty straightforward. You make an account. I think now there's a startup fee, but it's not very much. You make your listings, you put your information in. It's really not hard. I would say it just takes time, depending on how many listings you want to have, obviously. So for me, I have 4 signature scents. Every holiday I come out with 2 to 3 scents, and then I have a Valentine's Day scent, and then 2 to 3 summer and spring scents. And that's kind of my cycle for the year. So I do have a VA who helps me put my listings up just because that's something that, she can easily do for me, which is fantastic. If you're looking for a VA, I will pop her information down below just to share the wealth because it's super helpful to help delegate to some tasks. But yeah, I'm also able to use it quite easily, and I will say there's a lot of platforms out there that are not user-friendly. So Etsy is a checkbox in that regard. Point number 3 is in regards to being able to run ads. So obviously you can run ads on Google, you can run ads on Meta. If you have a website, you can drive traffic to that website. So that is obviously doable no matter where your products are listed. But what I like about Etsy is that it's very easy to run ads. So I'm somebody who, has worked in the advertising realm for a few years, and I do understand the whole media buying aspect of things, and it's not the most user-friendly. To log on to Facebook Ads Manager is honestly like a big chore and it's not user friendly. So with Etsy, what I like about it is that you can just literally say like, okay, which listings do you want to run an ad on and how much per day? You're not stressing about like all your media spend and different buttons you have to click. Like, it's very straightforward. So if you want to bring more people to your page, then running ads is a great option, and I love how integrated it is into their system. So obviously there's a lot of reasons to like Etsy, you know, how user-friendly it is, how you're opening up your doors to more people, you can get more exposure. You can also find a lot of really cool things on there if you want to shop. I've always really liked Etsy. But there are reasons why I don't like it, and I think it's gone downhill over the years, and let me tell you why. So first of all, the audience reach that I thought I would get with Etsy has not happened. I actually get a lot less views to my page than I originally thought. I had seen all of these videos of candle makers being like, I made, 10 grand on Etsy and I have so many sales coming through on Etsy, and I signed up for it and I was like, where are all the people? Like around the holidays I'll get a handful of orders, but the rest of the year it's like pretty grim. So, and I optimized everything. I optimized every listing. I optimized my page. Like, it's not like I'm doing anything wrong. It's just, I'm not getting the traffic that I need to be getting. Mind you, for the first while, I was not running ads on my page. And then around the holidays, I started running ads, which definitely helped bring more traffic. And that's like with any website. Obviously, if I had a Shopify site, people aren't just going to come to my page randomly. You have to promote it. So it's kind of the same in that regard. I just thought being a part of this community would just drive a lot more people to my page. And that just hasn't been the case. So it hasn't been like the surge of sales that I was hoping for, unfortunately. So the next point of why I don't love Etsy as much as I thought I would is the fees are a lot higher than I thought. Now, I will do a breakdown later on in this video of like how much I've made and how much they take, but I will just say like per every order, they are taking a big chunk of fees. Now, I sold a candle the other day that was on Etsy. The consumer paid $36.50, I think, and I only got $30 from that order. So that's like $6 they're taking, which is like quite hefty, because there's like processing fees, credit card fees, and then every listing you have is charging you a fee every month. So it kind of just piles up. Now, if you're busy and around the holidays, you're selling a lot of candles, you're not really noticing those fees. I don't mind, it doesn't actually bug me. But when I'm just selling like a one candle here or one candle there, I do really feel like I take a hit, and that kind of sucks. But I'm not paying for a monthly subscription, so that's good. So there's pros and cons. I think I know their fees have gotten higher over the years, so that's something to keep in mind. If you have another alternative to Etsy, maybe consider that. So if we go and look at 2023, my first year on Etsy, I wasn't on until May, so it's not a full picture, but basically it gives you like the conversion of, your visits, your orders, and your revenue. My revenue in 2023 was only $224. So not that great, but you can tell it starts to go up as we head into Q4, because obviously it's holiday season, which is great. And then it gives you your shopper stats, which is like how many items were favorited, shop follows, cities reached. And then it tells you how shoppers found you. So I brought in 81% of the visitors, 19% only came from Etsy. And then it goes down into like each listing specifically and how many views and favorites and orders it got, which I find really interesting. And then if we look at 2024, obviously it's a lot better. It's a full picture. So my revenue was $939.50. I had just over 1,500 visits, which is good. It had a peak in January, then it kind of went down, went up again in like the spring, and it just was a wave. And then it obviously picked up again kind of September to December. I had 46 people favorite my items. I had 16 shop follows, 6 reviews, 9 cities reached versus the 3 from the following year. And then how shoppers found you. So it was a better Etsy find this year, or last year, sorry. 32% of visits came from Etsy, whereas 68% came from me. So that balanced out a little bit, which is ideal. And then it's like views of each listing. So obviously my Fireside Moon candle does really well. A lot of people look at that one. Signature across Canada comes up next, and then my Ocean Hour, and then it keeps going down from there. So the stats are pretty good. So my takeaways, as you can tell, there were more reasons to like it than to not. Well, that's a positive. My key takeaway is I will not leave Etsy. I'm not going to shut my account down. I don't think there's any harm in having it. Yes, you're paying for listing fees. Yes, you have to pay fees when you sell something, but if I'm going to continue growing my business, why would I shut off a source of traffic? You know, I actually signed up for another website called The Virtual Market, which is in Canada. It's a local Calgarian woman that started it, and she charges one fee for the whole year, and then there's no fees. When you sell a candle or you sell a product, you get 100% of that, which is fantastic. I love that model. So you're just paying like a flat rate outright. Whereas with Etsy, like, you do have to account for all of those fees, and that is frustrating. But I think people just recognize the Etsy name and they're comfortable shopping on Etsy. Also, there's a lot of people on there that find me just from, you know, SEO and through my ads. And I remember watching another candle maker discuss this, where she shut her Etsy page down and she regretted doing it because she had to restart it up, and she's like, I should have just left it running all these years. So I definitely think it's worth your time. It's definitely worth having, but don't put all your eggs in one basket, because if you want to scale, I don't think Etsy is going to be the place that you're going to solely be able to scale on. You might want to start an actual website, or just look at other platforms where you can sell your candles, and have Etsy as a bonus. That's my personal opinion. I'm sure if you like drove a lot of ads to your Etsy, you could really scale it, and that's a whole other conversation. But these are just my experiences, and my food for thought. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a great rest of your week. We'll see you in the next video. Ciao.